Welcome to Start Lines and Swag Bags. The airing of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to replace advice from professional medical or training staff. Thank you for listening and your support of the Flying Pig Project.
All right, everybody. Welcome back for another edition of Fuel Swap. And you probably noticed that there was no introduction to this episode like I normally do. And that's fine. But I just found out that Rupesh, who is back for an unprecedented third visit to the show, has actually not listened to the other Fuel Swap episode. Thankfully, my other guest, Rebecca, has listened to that episode, so she knows what's going to happen. Now, because it's your third time, we're going to let Rebecca give her introduction first. So introduce yourself, share anything you'd like.
Sure. I'm Rebecca Beveridge. I'm obviously a member of the Skokie Swifters. I've been running off and on probably since high school, but really back into running post-COVID. So, after COVID, everybody got back into running, to avoid their families and actually get outside. So been more of an avid runner since 2020, but maybe that's all you need to know about me. I don't know.
Well, as I say, I'll ask. I do have a question, though.
Yeah.
How did you find the Swifters?
I stalked them for a while on Facebook. And on Strava. So they were recommended for me, and it was one of those things like, I'll just see what this is. And so I watched them for a while on Strava, and then I think I ended up coming to a Track Tuesday and met Sabrina and found out that Sabrina and I went to high school together, and she knew my husband, and I had never met Sabrina before, even though we went to high school together.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, so you, me, and Sabrina all went to the same high school.
I didn't know you went to Niles West.
I did go to Niles West.
Okay. So yes, we all went to Niles West.
We all went
to community.
He didn't go to Niles West. All right, Rupesh, I think everybody in my audience knows you, but she doesn't, so you have to introduce yourself.
Well, most people should have obviously listened to the previous two times I was on. This is kind of like the end of the trilogy, maybe, or I'll get dragged in for the fourth one. I don't know, but this is my third time on here. I've been running for not as long, maybe the last 15 years. I kind of started a little bit later in life just as a way to exercise more. Mostly I run lately with Fast Track Racing Team out of Schaumburg. That's where I met Rachel. I wasn't stalking them. I guess I just was looking for a running group and found them and joined. But that's basically me.
That's funny. I've never asked you. How did you find Fast Track?
I think I was just looking for running groups, and I knew Chris just from family, some of his families. So, and I was going to the store, and then I kind of got looped into it and met a few of the people, and it seemed like a good group, and still enjoy it. So yeah, they're all great people.
All right, so that's the two of them. Now, if you did happen to listen or watch, preferably, the last Fuel Swap episode, I'm going to say that there were some issues or some fun bits that people pointed out to me, and I'm going to go under the assumption that this episode has gone on without a hitch.
Okay.
Which is totally not true.
I was going to say, Rachel, I can talk about poop all you want if that's what we want this video to be, but,
So, yes, when I ran into you at Sketchbook and I invited you on, and then it turned into like a full-blown poop conversation. Yep. You're like, yeah, I'm all into that.
I didn't know that's where this was going.
Again, nurse by background, so I can talk about whatever you want, Rachel.
First of all, nurse and runner. I mean, yeah. And doctor and runner.
There you go. So there's nothing sacred here.
We can talk about poop. I don't think your audience is all there for it.
Well, actually, we've got a doctor, a nurse, and a special education teacher. So realistically,
there's
we
a lot there. Yeah.
about poop all day. But okay, so in trying to make this more of what it was supposed to be in the first place, the first thing we're actually going to talk about, the two of you are going to share, what I was trying to come up with the question to ask, like, how do you share your nutrition journey? Because I think that's kind of an odd, it's an odd topic starter. Like, oh, how did you start your nutrition journey? So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to pose the question. Not how did you start your nutrition journey, but do you remember back to when that first started being necessary for your efforts, and what did you do? And you get to answer first.
I get to start first. So I would say I didn't really realize that nutrition was necessary for running. I mean, again, when I was running when I was younger, I was doing 5Ks, short distances. And I did my first half marathon, I think, in 2021 without any fuel whatsoever. I ran it and I did the water stations, and I didn't know that you needed fuel for a half marathon. So it was actually the Schaumburg half marathon, Rachel, that we're doing in a couple weeks here. So I'm doing that again as like a redemption half marathon. So yes, I ran my first half marathon without any fuel. And then I think my third half marathon was Indy. And again, I just had water, and they had goo like in the race. And I'm like, hey, I might as well try it, right? Like, again, like the big no-no is never try something you've never tried before, but I did. But they didn't have the goo station until like mile 8, right? And so like my last 5 miles were really great. And I'm like, well, maybe I should actually look into this. It seemed to make a difference. So that was how I started with nutrition. I am a big, like, I don't eat before a race. I don't have anything before a race. So for a long, long time, I did nothing for nutrition during races. So it's just been, I think, last 3-4 years that I've done nutrition and actually like looked into like what I'm supposed to do for a race.
Okay, so much there. Because number one, nutrition is not something that when you start running, you automatically, think about. And depending on who or how you start or who you're running with and all of that, it may or may not ever come up. If you join a group and you're not running longer than, say, like a 5-6 mile effort at any given time, you're not talking about nutrition. I'm dying that it was the Schaumburg half marathon that was it the Swifters or without the Swifters?
That was without the Swifters. That was like in 2021, like right past COVID, where they still had the spaced timings and all sorts of weird stuff. But yeah.
See, because you're like me. I don't eat before a race. My fuel is sketchy at best. But the interesting thing is I've had a lot of people tell me, that I should try eating before, and and I know the right things you should do. Yet I still don't do it because I think I have more fear that it's going to go wrong than it's going to go right.
Yeah.
I am very proud of the fact that through 14 half marathons or so, I have never not once needed a porta potty.
That's a pretty good track record, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't want to start now. All right. Rupesh, same question.
My story is probably similar to Rebecca's. I've been running a long time, but probably in the last 3, 4, 5 years is when I started fueling. I'll say for me, I've run, don't know the current number, but close to 20 half marathons. And I would probably say for the first 10 or 15, my fueling was pretty horrible. I would typically, mostly, my fueling would be eating something in the morning. If I was doing a really long run, that much I knew that I should eat something. And usually for me, it would be like a English muffin with peanut butter. I think most people find when there's something that they have, they don't vary and try to eat different things. So that was kind of my thing, and still is, that I'll usually have. Glad that makes you laugh.
Well, because you don't want to, if you find something that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's something even like challenging with the Fuel Swap series. It's like you may try something, you're like, oh, this is really good, but am I really going to switch from what I know works? All right, keep going. Sorry.
It's okay. But I think I probably learned the most about it when I was training for the marathon 2 years ago, which was my first and only marathon I've done. And I was working with the running coach, and she would talk to me about fueling, and I started to understand it more. And then I would go back and think about kind of my journey and how like I didn't fuel. And I think the best half marathon I ran it was like 2 hours and 2 minutes. So I never broke the golden 2 hours. For some people, that's nothing. But for me, that was been my goal. But I ran the first half of it in probably 55 minutes. And then the second half of it, I just completely died. And I know that the entire race, I didn't fuel. And I think probably what happened was I just crashed and had no energy and didn't realize it. And subsequently, I've gotten better with the fueling and noticed the difference that it does make.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Rachel, John coached me in the marathon last year, and that's when you're laughing already. But that's how I really learned how to better fuel too. Like he would tell me, like he's like, when do you take it? I'm like, at mile 8. He's like, no, like that's too late. I'm like, okay. So I mean, I didn't know until he really kind of helped me through that, and I would say it's been a huge game changer for me to actually adequately fuel. Yes, and he did yell at me.
I'm only laughing because John, of course, that you're referencing is John from the first fuel swap episode, who admitted that, a 12-pack of Coors isn't good to have the night before a long run. It's not the fuel of choice. So I do find that funny. But actually what that reminds me of is the fact that like John and we can tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. And I know John's much better about it than I am, but I can, of course, tell you what you should do. That doesn't mean I'm going to do it, because what works for you
Right.
may not work for him, may not work for me.
No, for sure.
And I'm not, and again, I'm standing on my porta potty record. All right, but Rebecca, what's like the worst fuel mishap? Have you had a bad fuel mishap?
I wouldn't really say it was a bad mishap, but Rachel, even like when we did F3 this year, it was because I didn't eat anything and I forgot that F3 starts so much later. Because I'm used to like getting up at 6 and then the race starts at like 7:30 or 8 and I'm good. But F3 didn't start till like what, like 10 or something like that. And I was like starving. And like I said, I never eat before a race, so I was like running around looking for food and there was no food there. So you actually came to my rescue, and it would have been a bigger mishap if you weren't there.
So
yeah,
I just want to let you know,
Yep.
before we started recording, this is of course what I'm eating, and you're referring to the infamous bag of bagels
Yeah.
that I was carrying with me that I have in my fridge, and this is what I was chewing on right before we started. Bagels are everything.
You just bring those to races and hand out?
Well, she should, because she was my savior at that race. I was starving.
Walking around with the bagels.
That morning, how did I get there? That morning, it was a carpool, and like I had to get moving, and I like went in my fridge. Oh, I know, it was like really shortly before I moved, so I didn't have a lot of food, and I just like grabbed whatever was in my house, and it was a bag of bagels.
I'll give you a bag of bagels for a ride to the race.
Okay, but that's a fair point. The mishap can come in when you do find something that does work for you, but then you don't have it with you.
Right.
And you know that you do need something, but now you're kind of at the mercy of whatever somebody else can give you, and do they have something that's going to work for you?
Right.
Because as we learned in the episode, the other episode, if all that was available to me was that Morton, ew, I would be in trouble. And I want to point out, it wasn't you. Oh, I know. After that episode, I was talking to some of my fast track people about some fuel to get some ideas, and a couple of the faster guys that I thought used it called it bougie.
Bougie. Yeah, I could see that.
It's bougie
because
it's $4 a gel. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to make fun of that anymore. Because of course Marty's going to be like, whatever, it's my fuel. Okay, do you have like a worst?
It's hard to have a worse fuel story. I think I kind of gave mine, which was just no fuel. I think that's probably multiple episodes of no fuel. I think I don't have a bad fuel story because I definitely don't try different things when I'm in a race. So I think there's certain types of fuel that I don't like. Like I don't like the goos, and so that's the ones that a lot of people use or hand out at the races. So I never get those. So my worst is just no fuel or underfueling.
Well, I think a lot of it, and I think you both agree. For me, when it's fuel, it's a texture issue because I have texture issues. I don't like when things are really, really runny. That's gross to me, and I don't like it when it's like very clumpy. And the Morton stuff was like a kind of a big clump of aloe vera that you're putting in your mouth. And
That sounds wonderful.
which, okay, Rebecca, I'm laughing for a particular reason that we're not going to discuss. And so anyway, like I used to be a goo fanatic, but I only liked like the chocolate flavors, chocolate outburst, salted caramel. And then one day I was running on a particular hot day, and I went to open that, and hot goo that's chocolate or salted caramel is disgusting.
Yes.
And it is so runny and it's so nasty that's when I think at that point I switched over to like more of like a little chewy thing.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I mean, I don't like the chocolate goose. I mean, it tastes like frosting, right? It's like taking just a package of frosting and eating it while running, and then I just feel it in my mouth for the rest of the race. I'm like, what? So,
Well, okay, that's true. But as someone who like would use more fuel because I'd be out there longer, I
sure.
have to admit, when you really don't want to run anymore, but you have to, in my brain, it was like, but you get to have like a pack of chocolate frosting.
That makes sense, yeah.
And that's kind of a motivator.
Yeah.
Go just a little bit more. Here, have your pack of aloe vera. No, that's not a motivator to me. Have you ever tried Morton's?
No.
Oh, okay.
It makes me think of the salt when you talk.
Okay. MORTEN, salt. MAURTEN, gel.
I have not tried it.
Okay, well, don't.
I have not either.
Okay, so, all right. So what we're going to do is, see, this is the way the show was supposed to go. I don't know what happened last time. So now, we have, through the magic of a lot of things, Rebecca, you have Rupesh's favorite fuel to try.
Yes.
And I have your favorite fuel for him to try. And then I have a surprise for you both. And then I have to try it all, which is, didn't work out for me last time. And the whole idea is we talk about, there's like a rating scale. And the rating scale is based on your personal history. Like if I have to try something that in the past I know will cause me to, make that inevitable pit stop, well, I'm never going to have that ever. Never, ever.
Nope.
So Rebecca, I'm going to start with your fuel of choice.
I love how we basically just said you guys all hate my fuel of choice, so good luck. It's not the chocolate one, so I don't know which one you got, Rachel. But the vanilla bean one, yeah.
Goo, spelled
Goo.
G-U.
And it does have a little bit of caffeine in it. I noticed I was having a really hard time finding a no caffeine flavor.
Some do, some don't, like the espresso one. The coffee ones have caffeine, but then I know the strawberry banana ones don't. But those always work for me. I mean, they're easy. You can put them in your pocket. I understand the consistency. The first time I had a goo, I thought I was going to die when I was I was drinking it, but you kind of get used to it. So it works for me. It's just, put a whole bunch in your short pocket and rip them off and go on your way. So I've never had any issues, never bathroom issues. Rachel, never porta potty issues. So I stick with what works.
All right, now this is going to be a little unconservative, but so I only have one.
You're eating with a spoon?
Well, because again,
you're sharing it.
some logistics with this episode. And both of us are going to try. So I thought the nice thing to do would be to get a spoon,
She doesn't want to take too much or she might not finish the episode.
True.
Okay, no one else should be eating out of your gel pack.
With a spoon, yeah. But hey.
No, these are individual. These are not.
What do these retail for?
This is not a I don't know.
I don't know, because I always buy them in packs.
We have a listening audience. They might want to know.
I think this was under like $2. I think it's
it's not $4. It's I want to say
Don't spill it. Okay, you get to try it first.
So excited about it. It looks delicious.
And
it's pretty good. Tastes better than I expected.
Oh, okay.
I had low expectations.
So the questions are. Don't worry, you don't have to use that again. I have another spoon for the other fuel. Why cross contaminate? So like Marty's scale was, texture. Like, how'd you like the texture of it?
I don't like goo because of the texture. So,
so that's a no. I don't like it.
So,
what? Okay, hold on. What about the texture do you not like?
It's just goo. So you'll see when you see my fuel, it's not goo. So it's the flavor was decent. You need a minute.
Not liking it either.
Okay, that's gonna really this is not gonna make. It's got like a thickish taste. That's really weird. I don't know how to describe it.
That's a texture.
Yeah, it's like a thick, like.
That's goo.
It's like coating my.
Is this your first goo?
No, this is my first vanilla bean goo.
Vanilla bean goo.
I've had the chocolate goo. I've had the salted caramel, and then last episode I tried the strawberry banana, which was actually tasted like yogurt. Yeah, this does not taste like yogurt. This is kind of I don't like it. Well, that's why they sell 6,000 kinds of fuel.
Yeah, for sure.
The flavor's not bad, but it does have a weird consistency. But like I do agree with Rupesh on this one, the problem with gel is it's very temperature sensitive.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So if this, is on a hot day, I can't imagine trying to eat this without it getting all over the place. But I do think on a cold day when these get a little firmer, it's actually not too bad.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Okay. Now, you can take out his and you can open that up. You can share what it is.
So that's the honey stinger.
All right, and did you hear that sound I made? Ew. Okay, so how did you land on the honey stinger? How did you land on this?
I think I went to the store. Can I say this? Which store?
In a positive way.
Yeah, Extra Mile Running. And I think Chris actually recommended I try that. I think he also recommended maybe a goo or something else and just said, see which one you like the best. And that's how I got to it.
Now, okay, before you try it and before I try it, because I've never, interestingly enough, this is on the list of I haven't tried, but something I'm considering now, and I'm going to ask Rupesh to do it so I don't look like I'm like reading. How many servings how many calories are in the vanilla bean?
100.
And that's one serving.
Yeah.
Okay. How many servings is this bag?
2.
Okay. So, because I'm now, as we're trying like these different ones, I'm wondering what like the ratio is
Sure.
of how much of one you'd have to take as compared to how much of the other. So, okay, so this is 2 servings, and yours was 1 serving. Okay, go ahead and try it. Are they different colors?
Yeah, mine are different colors. I mean, it tastes like a, I don't know, like a gummy bear, just like a regular gummy. I don't know.
Does it have the consistency of a gummy?
It's a little chewier, I guess. I mean, it tastes okay. I mean, I would
You've never
try
had
it
them?
again.
Because the second you held it up, you made this face like you were going to throw up.
Well,
And you hadn't even tried them before?
so here's the
Yikes.
thing. I have tried many, many different chews.
Yeah.
And I'm also like an OG. I don't know if you've ever tried this one, Jelly Bellies. They make Jelly Belly fuel beans. And I never understood how people can actually do that and not choke at the same time. The problem I have with stuff like this is, it sits in your mouth for an extended period of time because you're supposed to absorb it. And actually, if you put it under your tongue, side note, if you put it under your tongue, it gets into your bloodstream faster because, you grab
So I should have just chewed
I'm
it.
talking to medical professionals because, you've got, allegedly, there's a direct line under the tongue to the brain. How do I know? All right. I don't know which flavor is which.
It's fruit punch. I think they're all the same.
Yeah.
No, it says
Mine says I got a mixer fruit smoothie.
it's got 3 flavors in it.
I guess I didn't realize. Eat it.
Can I ask a practical question? Since this isn't like individually wrapped, like how do you carry this on race day? Like, do you put it in a bag, or like how do you carry them while you're running?
I usually just take the container and I'll open it and I'll put it in like a shorts, and I'll just pull it out. If I'm running, I can run typically like a half marathon with 1 pack.
Okay.
It gets me through. So if I'm doing more than that, then I might bring more. Now she's like analyzing if that's underfueling, and maybe it is, but I usually take like 2 or 3 chews every half hour, and
okay.
that seems to get me through. I think the goos you take like hourly, I think I've heard.
I take them like every 3 or 4 miles. Again, depending between a half marathon and a marathon.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, here I now remember why I don't like chews. First of all, I will say there is a brand of chews I do like, and that is Scratch. And the Scratch chewies are a little less dense, and they also have like a sugar coating, or there's a, I think it's a sugary coating. So it makes them super yummy. And I do like those. It's not that I don't like these. It's that, okay, they get stuck in my teeth. I don't like that. I don't like having to like go the next mile, like trying to get the one piece out of my tooth that's stuck.
You should do these episodes and maybe have like 4 fuels, like the mystery one and then your favorite one, but maybe that one doesn't exist. Or it's
well, I'm trying to
Scratch or whatever.
I'm trying
you
to
said.
discover. No, so the whole idea. Okay, hold on. Back up. So the question is, Rebecca, could you, if you were out of fuel and somebody handed you this bag, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could try. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think consistency wise, I'd be fine with it. Just like you said, Rachel, it's different though. Like instead of it being a liquid, like it kind of just sticks in your mouth. And I guess I should really put it under my tongue and let it absorb. I don't know. That might be a lot for me, but
I don't think that's how they're intended, FYI.
Okay, good. Because I wouldn't
chew
do
it
that.
up.
Okay, look, that advice may or may not have come from my local dispensary.
I was going to say, I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, it did. It came from the local dispensary who recommended that when you, we go everywhere on this show, that when you have an edible, you should actually take it with a little bit of avocado or peanut butter under your tongue, because the fat helps whatever you're ingesting get into your system faster.
Interesting.
So there's some advice that
For my Saturday, next Saturday night, right?
On the next episode, we sit and watch Fantasia in Rachel's living room while eating gummies. All right. Okay. So you could see using that in its place.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons I'm challenged also by the chews is when it comes to, because I am slower in how much I have to carry, the goos, even though I don't like the goos, they're just easier when it comes to portion control.
Right. Yeah.
The bag of chews kind of makes me a little nuts because how many am I taking out? And then you drop one and then.
I would be afraid of dropping it. That would be my concern, but.
Okay. Fair point?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not running 7, 5, 6 minute miles, so I'm not like dropping them.
Just throw them all over the place.
Kind of taking them at the water station, slowing down for 30 seconds. But I guess they could be dropped, yes.
Okay. There you go.
Fair. Yeah.
All right. So now the whole idea is in that other envelope you have. Part of the series is me finding different fuels that probably I don't think anybody has tried and trying them because I'm not going crazy. Because when I saw this one, I was like, I kind of really want to try this one.
Bring energy gel.
Yeah, and I love the name of the flavor is
Awesome Sauce.
Awesome Sauce. Yeah. And it's apple cinnamon pie. And I, as someone who loves a good applesauce, I thought that this would be a good fuel to try.
Question.
Yeah.
It says eat 15 minutes before and every 30 to 40 minutes during a hard effort. What if you're not doing a hard effort? No.
So yours doesn't say anything at all. I'm
You
looking.
might have torn it off.
No, I'm looking at where yours says, like when we're supposed to take it, and I can't find it. Maybe it's under the. No. So you have no directions. Rebecca, you get to try it first because we have to do the spoon thing.
Let's see if I can figure out how to open it.
Oh, good point. Ease of opening.
All right.
Oh,
I had issues with that, so.
that's okay. He is too.
Okay.
I don't know how runny this is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It tastes like applesauce. Like really, like the cream you get in it. It tastes like an apple pie.
Oh.
Like,
Okay. Oh,
like
that's
you get like in a McDonald's apple pie or whatever. That's what it tastes like. The filling in there.
okay. First of all, Rebecca, you didn't give any. So you're not visually. I don't know if you're visually seeing it, but the way it's coming out of the pack.
Yeah.
That looks like a spoonful of.
Yeah, it does. And
yeah, it does. It sure does.
I don't like the texture either. It's like grainy. Like it feels grainy to me.
All right, go ahead.
Now, after that description.
The hesitancy.
Like she said, it tastes like applesauce.
Okay.
And it's just the consistency's
Yeah.
off. There's like chunks in there, like almost like it's real applesauce.
It's grainy. Yeah.
Wow, first of all, for everybody listening, I'm still the one with it on my spoon, and I'm going to try it. But but it looks like a spoon of poop, and I'm told there's chunks in it, and it's a texture issue. So don't say I don't work hard for my podcast.
And you just lost a sponsorship deal with that one.
Okay. First of all, that's incredibly good. Chunks aside. Well, you know what it kind of tastes like? Okay. First of all, I could eat that. That I could absolutely eat that. I think I had something else in mind with the chunks. because it's more like, you know what it is? It's like your apple crumble fell apart completely and broke into little pieces, and they mix the apple crumble into the, you know, the topping. So that does not offend me at all. I think that yeah. I'll go back for a seconds on that one.
It's so desserty. Like, I don't know. I feel like my kids would steal it from me and eat it because it tastes so good.
Well,
But
that's
This episode brought to you by
brought to
Spring
you
Gel.
by. Okay, so the second time,
You can't change your opinion now.
no, the flavor of that is really good. I'll probably finish that. Hands down, I'll finish that. The chunks, I now have to read the description because I don't know what they're putting in there that has those little chunks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like,
Like apple cinnamon or something in the corner.
Yeah.
Apple cinnamon pie.
oh, you know what? There's basmati rice in this.
Yeah.
Because
We-
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody bake their apple
Right.
pie with rice in it?
I don't think
It would be
anything
good
so
after you finish the race, I think.
You know, I agree. I think this would be a good, like, post.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
'Cause,
post
you
race.
know,
Yeah.
because it's nice and sweet. I don't know if I think I could have this during the race because the texture, and I don't know how to describe this. The texture of the goo. Really, I don't know how to. I
Yeah.
Where do I come up with the adjectives? It's very consistent and very smooth almost.
Yeah.
You know, like paint. It's just like,
Well, and this one's bigger too. This is bigger than the goo. Like, I feel
I
this
was-
is 180 calories, right?
it is. It's definitely a bigger, and I think that's because I somehow think applesauce concentrate almost. It just straight like applesauce wouldn't be enough.
But if you're having one of these before and one every 30 to 40 minutes, you're going to be consuming like 600 calories in an hour.
It's a lot. It's really big. Like, I don't think I would want to. I wouldn't be able to finish the whole thing.
Okay, so I'm only now looking at the ingredient list, and that's a weird ingredient list for this.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, besides the basmati rice, what is MCT oil?
I don't know.
I have to tell you, I'm also not too happy. When we talk about the likelihood of having to go break my porta potty record, I don't really want to eat anything that's got avocado oil in it.
Yeah. I mean, it
Any
just seems
kind of
like,
oil.
yeah.
Does
It seems like a
didn't
lot.
read the ingredients before picking the mystery fuel?
I did not. No, you know what? I did read it because I remember John is allergic to certain fruits.
Oh, okay.
Because this was going to be the mystery fuel for his episode, and I realized I couldn't do that because he was like allergic to apples or something. So I couldn't give it to him, so I had to hold off on it. I would eat it again.
During a race?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So Spring Gel Energy Awesome Sauce. Yeah. This week we have a vote. The mystery one last time nobody liked.
I mean, I wouldn't eat it during a race. I would say that much. Like, maybe after a race, but not during a race.
I would not eat it before, during, or after.
With a box. In a box with a fox.
If I'm ingesting 180 calories of something, it's got to be a little better.
That's a good point. Yeah, it is a lot for not so.
All right. Fair point. All right. So to end the episode, I know Rebecca wants to talk about poop so badly.
It's okay. We don't have
But,
to.
you know, as with other things, if it comes naturally, it comes naturally. Okay. Now, I do talk about how I have a disclaimer. Please don't listen to the advice you hear on the show, because the advice you hear on the show is very particular to a person. 70% of runners use goo or whatever. So that doesn't make it inherently good or inherently bad. It makes it good for some people and better for others. And some just, won't even consider it. But if you could give one piece of advice about nutrition, what would that be?
I mean, I would say definitely do your research and or, work with a running coach to help you with your nutrition, because it's made a huge difference for me in terms of going from absolutely nothing to actually fueling during a race. I mean, so I think back to my first half marathon that I did, and then for what I did last time at F3. I mean, I've improved my time by like more than 15 minutes. So, and I think a lot. I mean, I will give running and John being my running coach a lot of credit there, but it's also nutrition, which I never really I never really thought of as such a big part of running that it really is, especially anything longer than a 10K.
Fair point. Fair point. All right.
Yeah, I would say for my advice, I think honestly, if you're thinking about nutrition, then you're ahead of the game, because I think for me, like on the running journey, people talk about training and paces and run this many times a week. I'll say like almost nobody talks about fueling. And if you're talking about fueling, then I think you're ahead of the game. I think one of my friends was asking me for running advice, and it was kind of funny. He's like, "Well, I wake up in the morning and I like to go for a run." And he's like, "I just start crashing through the run." And then I'm like, "Okay, explain to me how you do this." He's like, "Well, like I like to do intermittent fasting, so I don't eat for like 14, 16 hours." And I was like, "Well, this is probably why it's happening."
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, okay, thanks, but I'm not going to do that." I'm like, "Okay, but." I think if you're thinking about nutrition and have that process going on, then I think that's really the main part. And then I think you'll get through the trial and error process. But it's really having it come to mind and thinking about it. I think that's the huge first step.
And here's my takeaway, especially after so this unfortunate weekend we had about 15, 18 fast trackers that went to Carmel this weekend.
Oh, it got canceled?
That got canceled. It was their first marathon for a couple of them, and
Oh,
everybody. And maybe this is just the timing of it. There was a lot of flat runners being posted. Of course, those of you who don't know, a flat runner is the night before. You lay out all your stuff and you lay your shoes. And a lot of people will add their fuel, their drink choices to the picture. And I think you have to kind of adjust your expectations when you're looking at those pictures. If someone doesn't post fuel, it's not that they're not having fuel.
sure.
If someone posts that they're using goo, or they're using Morton, or they're using Hammer, that doesn't make that a good or better for anybody. You have to really figure out what works for you.
Yeah, no,
You
for
have
sure.
to remember that if you come to me at the store and you say, "I just did a half miler with no fuel," I don't think you're a badass. I mean, at the end of the day, you do what you do to perform best. But, just like I said about runners who will have an injury and they're like, "Oh yeah, I ran even though I was sick," or "I ran even though you were
Right.
injured." Okay. I'm not going to give you accolades because I don't think you did the right thing, and I survived. Well, okay.
Well, again, I
Yes.
think the golden rule is, Rachel, don't try anything for the first time on race day, right? Like try it a couple times on a long run so you don't have that porta potty problem. So
And especially if the long run is a half marathon or a marathon.
yeah,
Because depending on your pace, if you're running a 10K, you could very well be fueling. And there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
You know, just because you don't see other people doing it doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing what's right for you. If the person next to me is taking fuel and I'm like, "Oh, we're at mile 1.5," good, that's for them. Who knows why they're doing it? Doesn't matter.
yeah.
I have one story about that though. When I started running, I remember I did a 5K. It was like one of my first races. There was water. There was like 2 water stops, or maybe 1 water stop in the race, and we got to the start line, and there was like a lady, and she had like belt with like 6 water bottles on it. And I was like, I think that's a little excessive. Normally, I totally respect that, but I was just like, this seems like a lot of hydration for a 5K with the
5K,
water stop in the middle. But
I'm laughing because actually at the Good Life race a couple weeks back in Oak Park, there was actually a couple people who had, it's just a 5K and they had the vests on.
Yep.
And I thought of the episode that I did with him and that he brought that up. I was in hysterics. Okay, we're not going to make fun of people who wear hydration vests. All right, Rebecca, thank you so much for your flexibility.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Because there's been some challenges. Thank you for making an unprecedented, not only an unprecedented third time on the pod, a literally unprecedented second live recording. That's unprecedented.
this is the trilogy right here. Unless we come out of retirement for a 4th one.
Oh my God. All right. Thank you again for everybody who's listening. Thank you so much for your support of the Flying Pig Project. And embrace the crazy to unlock a world of possibilities. And go try some new fuel and reach out to me and let me know what you tried. Bye, everybody.
Rachel.
Bye. Thanks so much, Rachel.
There's no reactions. Oh, there they are.